Welcome to Rewire Yourself Rich, the podcast for the woman who's done with temporary bullshit mindset shifts and ready for a full nervous system level identity upgrade. The woman who knows she was born to transform the world with her unique superpowers. I'm your host, Kelly Pender, wealth identity rewiring expert, intuitive mentor, and creator of the Rich Coded Method. In our world, we don't manifest like needy ass bitches. We re-encode the big fucking deal wealthy woman back into yourselves. We shift your DNA to remember who the fuck you are. Ready to become rich coded, getting paid to exist? Let's fucking go. Hello, my big fucking deal. Welcome back to another episode of the Rewire Yourself Rich podcast. This episode is, we have Christie Ressel on the pod, who is an image consultant, and she doesn't have this in her bio, but she uses energetics through your style, and we dive into making more money through your style, law of attraction that's embedded in your clothes, and wealth vibes in your wardrobe to create your rich identity. I learned so much in this episode from Christie, and this is going to light a beautiful fire under your booty to change up your wardrobe to match your rich identity of who the fuck you are. Once you listen, slide into our DMs. I'd love to hear what landed, what shifted for you so I can celebrate you. And without further ado, let's dive into this episode with Christie. Yay. All right, Christie, I'm so excited to have you on the pod. This is going to be a game changer for so many of us. And what we're about to dive into is going to change everyone's identity and wardrobe in the best way. So thank you for being here.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat to you again.
So excited. Yeah. So for those listening, Christie and I met in Times Square.
Yes.
And then we were at just in the middle of Times Square.
Isn't that where people normally meet? I love it.
I mean, come on. That's where we first met. And then we officially met at the Innovator Award ceremony with Aralis, which was amazing. And I love you. I love being in your energy. I'm like instant connection, instant soul sisters. I could talk to you forever. And I'm so excited to have you on the pod because before we hit record, we were saying so many of us are shifting our identity, but we don't realize that that comes with an entire wardrobe change and shift. And before we dive into that, I would love to know how you became an image consultant and built your brand and business.
Oh, wow. It's a meaty question. So it kind of happened in twofold. I was someone that went through school as sort of the wandering lost soul, if you will. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be a banker. I don't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to do any of the traditional jobs you heard of in school. And all I knew I was great at was socializing and shopping. But I'm like, okay, well, that's really not a career. And when I was thinking about, some of the traditional roles in fashion, like as a, editor or buyer, they just didn't really appeal to me. So I took some time after high school to just sort of think through things, if you will, and eventually stumbled upon fashion PR, went to school for that. And they had said, okay, well, as one of the projects, we want you to research careers in fashion that are not the norm. And at the time, Disney released this movie called The Kid with Bruce Willis, where he played an image consultant, and he was saying to the characters on the film, oh, well, you need to have this, and this hair and makeup, and this makes you look this way. And if you're going into this setting, this is the wardrobe that'll set the tone. And I just thought, oh, like that's damn cool. And I found someone local to me in Toronto at the time that I interviewed for the project, thought nothing of it, and just sort of carried on. And it wasn't until my mom was diagnosed with cancer, sadly, a few years after that, she started losing a lot of weight because of her disease. And shopping was something that she and I did together. It was just like our bonding activity all the time. And I had overheard her say to my dad that there was going to be this Easter event for family coming up, and she was debating on not going because at this point she was so advanced in her journey. Everything was like hanging on her clothes wise. And it just so happened that for her birthday, that was around the same time, I had bought her an outfit that I was like guessing was her best size at that time. Cause I know like my mom really prided herself in showing up as her best. Like she'd always put on fresh lipstick before my dad got home, and like always had her favorite perfume on, and just kind of wore something a little bit, bougie that would put a pep in her step. And that all sort of fell away, of course, when she was sick. And so when I heard her over talking about this to my dad, I ran up to my room and grabbed her present early to give it to her.
Mm.
And it was just magical seeing her try on something that fit her again in one of her darkest times, where I could just see the power of her style physically shift her body language. And she had no energy at that time.
Yeah.
And it was something that took my breath away to see her completely energized and felt like a rebranded woman all of a sudden.
Mm.
And it was where I really thought, like, oh my God, like style is really powerful.
Mhm.
And she went to that event, like the Easter event for our family, and was telling everyone, like, that everyone was telling her she looked great. And she's like, thanks, Christy picked this outfit out for me. And like, she was just
Oh,
like radiating this new kind of confidence.
yeah.
And so sadly, after that, she passed away about a week later. And it was just one of those memories that was burned in my mind. And I just thought, like, God, I've got to really create this experience for other women. Like, it was so intoxicating and memorable just because of obviously my relation to my mom. And at the most divine timing, the image consultant I had emailed during that school project happened to email me about training, and that style and image consulting is about development from the inside out versus traditional fashion styling. And I just thought, sign me up for that. And the rest is history. It's been 18 years and I've never looked back.
Oh my gosh. I love this. The whole time when you started to open up that story, I got chills in my body because this is your sole purpose.
Yes, very much so.
Very
100%.
much so in
Yeah.
so many ways. And I love this so much. And for those who are listening, I always ask like how you started your business and brand because it's always purpose led. It's
Yeah.
always God led. It's always quantum led, universe led, whoever, whatever you believe in. And whenever we allow ourselves to be in that and take those steps, of course, out of the blue, an email came your way, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I've reflected on it so many times over the years, and I just think like there's no way I would have figured that out sitting in a classroom in high school of like, oh sure, this is what I'm going to do next. Like there were
Mhm.
events that took place, and it's an off like it's a beautiful and bittersweet story, of course, but
Mhm.
it's just been my burning passion to make women feel empowered and beautiful, and it couldn't have happened any other way. I truly believe that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Soul purpose. I love
Yeah.
it. And here you are. Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. So all of our listeners know that what we do is wealth identity rewiring here. And like I said, we forget that when you shift your identity, this includes how you present yourself. So I'd love to hear from you how, because when you shared this with me, I was like, girl, we need you on the pod. How our rich identity is embedded in our wardrobe.
Well, I always think your dream life starts in your closet. And if you think of, anyone in a film that's going through, a down and out phase, right? Like the character is dressed in schleppy clothes,
Yeah.
maybe like really muted colors, things don't fit well, and like the aura is kind of down and out, if you will.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the character goes through this metamorphosis at some point in the journey, and they come out the other side, and there's this wardrobe that matches their newfound energy, their newfound presence, their new lease on life. And it might be structured clothing or colorful clothing or clothing that just has this sort of rich feel to it.
Hmm.
And you can just sense that or you can see, sorry, on the screen that the whole character's demeanor has just completely elevated. They're walking a different way. They feel like their clothing's aligned with who they are. And so they make more eye contact as a result, and they're just getting shit done as a
Yeah.
result of that. And that's to me the energy that people feel when your clothing aligns with not only the woman you want to be, but the direction that she's going.
Mm.
And that's because you're embodying the 5D in the 3D by having your closet truly represent the direction and momentum that you're capturing in your life and in your essence.
Mm.
And you can feel that. There's a lot of studies actually that show that your clothing can be like wearing the law of attraction on your body, both from a color perspective and just from the fabrics and such that you wear. And I think that's why a lot of us over the years, even if we've gone out for a date or we're going out with girlfriends and maybe you've bought a new outfit and all of a sudden you feel on and you're like,
Hmm.
fuck, I look hot today. Right? And like you just feel this like vibe when you get dressed, like that is your rich identity. And so the more you create success for yourself or you start embodying those successful actions, when you have a wardrobe to match, the perception that you're creating for others around you also mirrors that. And so people start seeing you in the role or in the vibe or in the echelon that you want to create for your business and your brand. It's really powerful.
Oh, that is so true. And hearing it explained that way, it's like, this makes so much sense. This makes
Right?
so much sense. I mean, right when I came on, you were like, I love your lip. And I was like, thank you. And I have two different identities in the day, right? I have like my stay at home mom identity,
Yeah.
and that's like no makeup, whatever the fuck. And then Frankie's down for a nap, and I'm like, bitch, it's my time. And so
I love it.
I put on my black, I put on my gold necklace, I put on my lip, and now I immediately transform.
Oh, I love it. It's like an alter ego almost, right? Yeah.
It is. But
Yeah.
like, I love what you said with the frequency behind it because it's true. Like, literally 45 minutes ago, I'm like, I'm tired." And immediately, when I changed my wardrobe, when I
Mhm.
put on some lip, I have a different energy. I show up
100%.
differently, and it makes so much sense.
100%. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't think that, that energy that you're feeling right now. One of the things that I really thought about and I've spoken to my clients about is when you're in that tapped in, turned on energy, just from like simple things, right? Because this doesn't have to mean you're wearing a ball gown during the day, but imagine feeling that kind of on energy and then going to write sales copy or going to talk to clients and just imagining the kind of energy and frequency that you can hold for them when you're also in that elevated energetic space. Like it's very powerful.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love this. I'm like, ooh. Okay, so you said law of attraction is embedded in your clothes. That reminded me. I swear recently, I don't know if this was on TikTok, but I'm like new on TikTok, so things pop up. And I swear I saw different fabrics hold different frequencies.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So there was a study done by Dr. Heidi Yellen, and they were studying the just frequency of fabrics.
Mhm.
And what they found out is that the frequency of clothing can either amplify our energy and also create healing modalities for it, but also bolster our body's natural energy fields, or it can detract from it. And so what they found is that natural fibers, which again we know like natural fiber is going to last the longest, like all that kind of stuff, but when you wear things like wool, linen, organic cotton, for example, those hold a frequency of 100. And sorry, so 100, and that's where your body should be at its most natural like state. And so it's something that supports and holds your body's natural frequency. Whereas when you wear things like silk, ironically, was on there, but polyester, rayon, man-made fabrics, they actually have a frequency of 15, which is the equivalent of a dead body. And so
Oh,
they found that those fabrics, those types of things that you put on your body are going to be things that add stress to your body, lower your frequency, and lower your magnetism as a result. And so the refinement of everything is really powerful. And one of the things I always tell clients, because I mean, man-made fibers are around us a lot nowadays, is just, looking at the tag, seeing what you get, because you can't avoid it completely, but
mhm.
just also, choosing the best quality that you can afford, because we've all had the experience of, or if you haven't, this is a great exercise for like wealth vibes in your wardrobe.
Ooh.
Go into something like, I don't know, H&M or a Forever 21 or something like that, and you can just touch the clothing that you're feeling. And
Mhm.
then take yourself on a little bougie date, get a nice little coffee or beverage, and go into Saks Fifth Avenue if you have that around you, or like just some elevated boutique if you have access to that, and then just go feel the fabrics that are in those stores as well. And this is not a hard and fast rule because there can be not great fabrics at higher levels, but you'll get a different sense of like the thickness, the way things are stitched, etc. There's a different frequency that comes with that hand. But yes, the frequency between the actual fabrics themselves make a huge difference, and they have healing properties behind them. Like linen we used to have on in hospital beds because it had antibacterial properties, and again the frequency of it was so powerful. Yeah.
That is amazing. Ooh.
Yeah, isn't it cool? So that's why I always say, like, if you can find something that feels resonant with you and just feels like butter when you're slipping it on, that again is just going to amplify your essence as you're working through the day or just as you're presenting yourself, which is really cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. I love this. And all right, now I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. So when you say like your identity starts in your closet,
Yeah.
that immediately made me, and I know I can hear from our listeners, be like, what's in my closet? So
We all got
so
stuff hanging out in there.
So knowing that, and here's the thing, some of us have like old clothes that we've had for so long for some
Mhm.
reason or another without getting overwhelmed, because our closets can be overwhelming if we haven't
100%.
taken the time to like go in there and weed through and match it to our identity. So
Yes.
where's the first step or place that we should start when we slide open our closet doors and we're like, okay, here we go. I'm ready for my rich identity through my wardrobe.
Okay, so great question. So the first place before you even hit the closet, especially so it creates less of like, oh God, this is such a big chore or task, is
Mhm.
actually to make it more playful first. And if you
Mhm.
haven't done it already, ask who your rich identity is. And so maybe just take some time on Pinterest, grab a glass of wine, a nice coffee, something like that, and think of even just a few words that really capture the essence of your rich woman, right? Like how she's coded. And if you were to think of your dream life, because we all have that in our mind, right? Our manifestation that we're bringing to life, what does she dress like? But think about all the activities in her life. Because I find a lot of women we go to, like, oh, she's wearing these like bougie ass suits and she's got like, like sparkles and like, I don't know, whatever, this luxe clothing. But I'm like, okay, but like when you're with your kids, what's your rich identity like there too? Like, how does she show up so we can make a realistic wardrobe, right?
Yes.
And just get a couple of ideas of what that might look like or keywords, and then type those into Pinterest. Make yourself a little rich code board on
Mhm.
what that looks like. And then from there, go to your closet and just go. You don't have to pull everything out of your wardrobe. Like that's so overwhelming. But
Yeah.
just go in, and I'm sure your eye will notice right away if there are things that are lingering that are old identities or old energy that you've moved on from. And so this could look like, having clothing in your wardrobe that fit two sizes ago, but you're shaming yourself into not being anymore. And so it's still hanging there. But to me, like that's an energy vampire. That's something where you look at it, and even though it's hanging there and logically you can't wear it, like quote unquote, just yet, you're
Mhm.
also subliminally telling yourself that you're not good enough because you used to be a different size, rather than just removing that stale energy from your wardrobe and embracing the badass you are now.
Mhm.
Because let's say she goes through a lifestyle journey, I know damn well you're not going to wear the thing that's hanging up in your closet from God knows when. You're going to go out and buy yourself something new that you feel fantastic in. So,
Yeah.
removing the old stale energy of anything that doesn't fit or anything that feels worn out are some of the easier things to just pull from.
Mhm.
And you guys can donate it to charities like Dress for Success, or local shops if you want to see if you can get some money back for it. Or if you're really terrified about that, just tuck it in like a Rubbermaid bin and put it in the basement or just somewhere out of sight, out of mind, just so that energy is not infusing your like daily routine. And
Yeah.
then I think also asking yourself every time you get dressed in the morning, this is just an easy way to go about it. If you're skipping over a hanger in lieu of something else, ask yourself why. Because
Mhm.
what I've found a lot of women do is when I've gone into their closets, they may say, "Oh, well, I love this top, but I
Mhm.
don't wear it unless I have to." And when I ask them why, they'll say, "Well, I love the color, but it makes my boobs look weird, or it doesn't fit around my waist the way I would like it to, or it's got stains on it. So unless I can wear it with this jacket, then I don't want to wear it at all." And I'm thinking, babe, we can do better. Like
Yeah.
just get rid of it. So all the stuff that you pass over should be the things that you want to donate. And some people may say, "Well, if I do that, I'll have nothing left afterwards, I'm going to have nothing to wear." And my answer to that is you're already doing that anyway,
Mm.
because most women only wear 20% of their closet. And
Yep.
so, at least if you're only left with the things you actually wear on a daily basis or that make you feel good, or it doesn't mean that there's not room for improvement, but at least now you have a true picture of what you're physically working with. And
Mhm.
now you can make a clear shopping list that you can just like move through slowly over time. It doesn't have to happen overnight, of what you
Yeah.
do want in this new era of where you're growing and evolving into. And that is a really beautiful place to start.
Mm. That the way you explained that and led us through that was so amazing, because you just cleared out any overwhelm and you made it fun. And that's what we want. And right now I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to have a glass of wine and create my Pinterest board, because this is something that I'm creating for myself too.
Love that. So
Yes.
good. Oh my God, I can't wait to see like the evolution. I mean, you look fab already anyway, but like, ooh, that's exciting.
I know. I
And
don't
I
even
think the
know.
other thing too for women is the one thing I think a lot of women think is like their personal style or rich identity and all the stuff is like this thing that you will pick and then you never work on it again. But the thing is your style evolves with you,
Mhm.
because as you grow, your style is going to grow and it will shift and morph and change. And so give yourself permission to not have to be the woman you were 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago, and let her show up in the energy that feels bold for you, whatever that looks like, or playful for you, even if it doesn't look like what your friends wear, your peers wear, other coaches wear, like whatever, and
Mhm.
allow her to just thrive. Like that's when you're going to make more money, because people will see your authenticity and you're just energy coded in what you wear every day. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's how we thrive. I love this. And that was a huge permission slip that so many of us needed to hear because I know I'm thinking to me, like back in the day when I was baby coach, I
Mm,
would be like, oh, I'm a coach now. What are other coaches wearing? And I always felt like I had to dress a certain way to
mm,
fit the label, to fit the identity.
right.
And that permission slip there was everything because it never felt good for me. Like when you were talking about power suits, I'm like, yeah, I love that, but also that's not really my vibe.
Right. Totally. And it's not for everyone. 100%.
It's not, but
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, I tried to make that my vibe
Mm.
and I was like, I feel stupid. Like I don't even feel good in this.
But at least you were so aware of that. And I think
Mhm.
the one good thing about that is you experimented with it.
Mhm.
Right? Because a lot of people, I think, are scared to experiment in case they get it like quote unquote wrong. And I
Yeah.
so resonate with you, because when I first got into fashion, I would see all these people wearing like all black and these like
Mhm.
really, like edgy outfits. And I'm just not that. I like color and everything else, but I tried it for a really long time. I even went through a phase where I dyed my hair silver, like it was a whole mood.
Ooh.
And I remember feeling like there were aspects of it I enjoyed because it felt a bit like fun to experiment, but I also remember feeling so uncomfortable in my skin, and
Yeah.
things just in my business were not clicking that same way. And it wasn't until I finally just kind of said, fuck it, and I'm gonna dress the way that I want, that
Yeah.
things really shifted in my business, because I just allowed myself to shine. And my people, my soulmate clients were able to like vibe with me once I started showing up in my identity that I wanted, you know?
I'm
It's
telling you.
huge.
It is huge. It's
Yeah.
and what we say here all the time, it's like step into the truth of who the fuck you are. Because
Yes.
when you resist yourself, you're resisting everything else that life wants to bring you and give
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I say, like, for women, like, all the things that you might be scared of releasing in your closet, that's scarcity. There's always going to be more. You have to release the scarcity in your closet. You got to release the past identities of self, the
Mhm.
old chapters, like, lovingly release them. She served her part and she's a beautiful, wonderful soul. But we're also ready for the evolution and, like, what's next? We're ready to flip the next chapter in the book, right? It's
Mm.
fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I know everyone listening is like, yes, yes, yes. I love this. I feel that for me. Okay, so you mentioned this, and I mentioned this again. I want to go a little bit deeper into making more money through style. You mentioned that
Hmm.
with the encoding and the frequency, and I'm like, I want to hear your perspective on this.
So fashion's interesting in that there's a way we can make more money through style, both from the feeling that we create through our clothing for ourselves during the day.
Hmm.
So, kind of like I was saying, like if you have your wardrobe that encompasses who you want to be, and even if you're on that journey, you're like, well, my closet's nowhere near that, that's fine. But if you would feel on wearing a bold lip, kind of like what you're doing, and that would make you feel like more amped up during the day, then
Hmm.
beautiful, start with that.
Yeah.
Or if it's a blazer, like I'm a blazer junkie. So if it was a blazer and you want to wear a blazer, then fine. If it's colors or a certain color that makes you feel energetic, then do that. It's about creating your own ecosystem during the day that amplifies your energy, because that gets infused into your copy, your social media, how you show up for your clients, everything. And so that begins with you. But on the other half of it, what a lot of people don't realize is your style tells a story, not only about who you are, but what others believe to be true about who you are. And so we forget that there is a perception that comes with how we dress. So again, kind of like if we think about it from a neutral perspective, if we're watching a movie, again, the character that's down and out, the oversized clothes that are shapeless and like say let's say they're oversized sweats and they got the top knot and it's like messy and whatever and they look like they're down and out and they're like there's holes, rip stains, whatever.
Yep.
Like they, if you were to have that person approach you off the street and they could be the most brilliant like coach or whatever, and they're talking to you and they're like, you have to be in this, XYZ thing, or this is going to change your life, it would be a lot of a harder sell because the person on the receiving end of that will be looking at you and creating a story, and they will determine in a few seconds if they think you are trustworthy, credible, how successful you are, what your personality is like, what the back end of your business is like, and whether that aligns with them particularly. And there's litanies of studies done with this where they say 55% of your credibility in today's market goes to what people see visually. And
Wow.
that doesn't mean that you have to alter yourself to just fit a mold, so to speak, but you
Yeah.
have to understand that there's a perception with how you present yourself. And
Hmm.
it doesn't come from a nasty place. Like, we're just in a very visual society where you scroll Instagram, you double tap on things you like, and keep going on your merry way. And it's the same thing with your image. People are really going to consider within a few seconds whether you fit the role, quote unquote, on whatever industry you might be in, or what their perception is on what they deem in their lens as like successful, competent, trustworthy, etc. And it's always interesting because it always affects your body language too. One of the things I've done in a lot of lectures over the years is I've shown clients in a before photo where they're, not living like their best life through fashion, and the body language can be really closed, really small. And we kind of feel like that, right? Like if we all run to the grocery store and let's say we look like shit and we're like, oh my God, I hope I don't run into anyone. And like just in and out, right? Like tunnel
Yeah.
vision, hoping you don't like see anyone, right? Whereas in a moment, kind of like we were talking about earlier, like you bought yourself an outfit, you feel cute, like there's a different charisma that comes, and they show that when we're in that kind of energy, you make more eye contact, you connect more, you share your ideas more freely, etc. And so when
Hmm.
I show these before and after photos, the body language when someone's just wearing something different is completely open, and it's more receiving, it's more receptive. And when I have the audience, I answer the questions on what do you think their education level is? What income do you think they make? Are they successful? Would you buy from them? Et cetera, et cetera. We go through a list of questions. The answers on the before and after are completely different from the audience. And so it's just one of those things that we want to be mindful of in just saying, okay, like you don't have to be a robot, right? We all have top knot days, we all have sweatpant days, and like all those things.
Sure.
But if I'm becoming the highest and best version of myself, am I actually showing up on a daily basis in a way that aligns with who I want to be? And
Hmm.
also simultaneously what my brand and my customers and community would also expect of a woman of this echelon or caliber to show up in her like feed, whatever,
Yep.
or in her programs or in whatever. Does that align so that I'm really amplifying the work that I'm already creating with my zone of genius so that people are like, yeah, she knows exactly what she talks about. Like she's the woman I want to work with. Like, of course. And so I always say, and I've seen it time and time again with clients, like it's inevitable that you will make more money when you dress as the woman you want to be, and not only from a feeling good place for yourself, but also that aligns with your brand so that your customers and community can feel it too, because you're creating a narrative and story for them also.
That that makes so much sense. That landed so much for me, and I know for all of our listeners, especially in the work that we do. I'm running a live training right now called 10K Day Code,
So good.
and we started out the second training with you need to decide who you are and what you're known for before the world decides for you.
Yes.
And what you just like beautifully dropped right there just landed so much because it's like, again, so many of us don't factor in when you're deciding who you are and what you're known for as an expert in your business and in your brand, that includes the way that you present yourself, your wardrobe, your style. Like so many of us tend to put that way down on the priority list.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I understand like there's so many things that we're navigating in, in business and in life in general. But I think a lot of people look at style, or they can look at style as very fluffy, and it definitely has that side to it where it's like fun and energizing and all the things. But there's a
Mhm.
really real side to it that can just amplify the work that you're doing and help you move so much faster. And this is, I share with clients all the time, like this is why when we see a woman who's reached a certain part in her brand and all of a sudden like the makeovers come and then this brand reinvention comes and all these things, because it's like, oh, Yeah, like the brand identity has to catch up now, including the brand owner, if you will. And once you see that, it just seems like all of a sudden this momentum starts steamrolling for them. And it's just because your physical world, the 3D has caught up with the 5D and all the other work that you're doing in your zone of genius, which is really powerful. And it's why, musicians, actors, and on set, like there's always a stylist directing how the character would like dress or show up, and why musicians constantly have their image evolving because
Mm.
there's a perception that comes with that. Like if Lady Gaga, I don't know, came to stage in like I don't know, sweat. I'm like she's obviously fabulous no matter what, but like it's just not going to carry the same power as when she comes out like dressed and ready for the concert or performance that she's about to deliver. It's the same for any celebrity, right? There would be a bit of a like womp womp energy that kind of comes with it. And
Yes.
so let's amplify the hard work you're already doing already anyway and get that momentum and energetics behind it that's just going to catapult you into a different level. It's huge.
Mm. It is huge. I love this. And I love you and your work because this is what, in my eyes, and in all of our eyes listening, differentiates you from a stylist to I'm a stylist who allows you to identity shift, who allows you to be in the what we lovingly call her fame frequency, big
Oh, love
fucking
that.
deal, wealth identity, right? The rich coded woman. I love this. You have the subconscious mind behind it, you have the energetics behind it, the frequency behind it, and it carries this style. Like I feel excited now to go in my closet and do a little peruse.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I love that.
Yeah, this
But
is amazing.
well, and I think it's the thing that I tell women too is like you got to give yourself permission and let it be playful. Like there's definitely a serious side, like we could get into brand identity and all that kind of stuff and get really nuanced with it, which I do with my clients during their shoots and stuff. But
Mhm.
I think the thing that a lot of women don't lean enough into is just self-trust, that the things that
Yes.
you love or that feel magnetizing to you or playful to you are the things that you're supposed to wear. Like if you want to dress like Carrie Bradshaw, then do that. If you want to dress like, I don't know, some quirky, colorful, like whatever, then do that. If you want to be super edgy and androgynous, then do that. But like it's going to match the frequency of what you want. And I say to women all the time, like if you force something that you think you should be wearing versus what you actually want to, you are always going to struggle with your style and your brand identity because they have to mirror one another. And it's your authenticity frequency. And authenticity is one of the most potent things out there. And so when you can finally have your clothing mirror the badass bitch you are, like just everything starts to just move and shake in a different way. And you'll be so much more thankful because it's so much easier for your brand image and how you show up on a daily basis to align because it's
Yes.
just who you are, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. Like you just open my eyes to style in a totally different lens that I've never heard before.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Oh my
That's
God.
so great. It's just definitely it's a fun frequency to get into. And I always think like all of us have to get dressed during the day. So you might as well wear the thing that makes you feel great. And again, I say that with asterisks in that a lot of women think style means heels and lipstick and being dressed up and whatever. And it can be that. But it
Mhm.
also gets to be having your butt look fantastic in a pair of jeans and a basic tee while you're with your kiddos and you're wearing comfy shoes that are still cute as you're running around doing your errands. And it gets to be all of that too. So your frequency has different layers to it, but it still should be the through line or the intention that every time you get dressed, the standard in your closet is that you feel fantastic. And anything that doesn't fit that frequency needs to go because it influences you.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a
Ooh.
high standard for your business, have it in your closet as well.
That was a mic drop moment right there. And I know for so many of us that clears out the almost like energetic mismatch we had of who we are becoming. And
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, so many of us don't factor in your wardrobe, don't factor in your style. And by doing
100%.
that, you become a match.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think it's just, I think for a lot of women, we just are caught up in our zone of genius. You're serving, you're busy, with kiddos, your personal life, everything else. And so I
Mhm.
know sometimes it's easy to get lost in. I think a lot of women also get stressed out by the idea of like, okay, well, then there's that. And then trends, where does that come into play? And I don't have time to keep up with all those things. And so that's where stylists can come in to help. But I think it really just at the end of the day starts with what makes you feel good. And if you can start with that simple question every single day, it'll do dividends for you when you're getting dressed every single morning. And if you have something in your wardrobe or the outfit feels kind of off and you're not quite there yet, and the energy, like you feel okay, but you just wish there was something more, ask yourself the simple question of what would feel better and
Mm-hmm.
start to lean into that, because you may not have that in your closet, but babe, that now becomes part of your shopping list, and just allow it to be fun so that it gets to be a feel good frequency in your wardrobe, rather than one that feels like you're berating yourself for not having the things or the body or the clothing or what fill in the blank yet, because you will have it. It's just, it takes time to build that, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. I love that. I could talk to you all day. This was magical. All of your wisdom, all of your expertise. I know our listeners and myself, I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's build that Pinterest board. Let's go shopping. Let's get rid of old shit that's lowering my frequency. I'm ready. I love this.
And then show me the end result, because I want to see.
Oh, yes, I will. And all those listening will slide into your DMs and be like, Christy, look.
I love it. So good.
Tell us how we can work with you, where we can find you, all the things.
So I am on social media just under my name, Christie Ressel, or I have a podcast called Woman on the Rise. You can find me there as well. Instagram is probably where I'm most active. And then in terms of people working with me, I have a community that's called Rise Through Style, where we talk about identity and fashion every single month with new trainings, and we get into conversations exactly like this, just how to embody your highest and best self through style. And we have, outfit picks and all sorts of stuff that's thrown in the mix there. It's really fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, I'll put all of that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here, sharing your magic, your wisdom. I loved every second of this.
Oh, thank you for having me. I just love talking to you. It's the best. You have just the best, most glowing energy. And I'm just honored to be on your podcast. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Yay. If you loved this episode as much as I did, please take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram so I can share you and your incredible body of work to my network and celebrate you. And as a special abundance gift, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Take a screenshot, send it to me on Instagram, and I'll send you my sexy sales hypnosis to rewire yourself rich in your sleep.